My son Daniel placed a manila folder on the dinner table between the roasted chicken and mashed potatoes, right next to my wine glass. "Sign this paper, Dad," he said, his voice flat and businesslike. I looked down at the document. Power of attorney. Full financial control. My hands, my home, my pension, everything I'd built in 72 years. "Your attorney's recording this, isn't he?" I asked calmly. Daniel's face went white. He hadn't expected me to know. What he didn't know was that my attorney had been recording everything for 3 weeks. And what I learned destroyed not just my illusions about family, but revealed a conspiracy that would cost them everything. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and write in the comments what time it is where you are now. The dinner invitation had come on a Tuesday. Daniel called around noon. "Dad, why don't you come over Friday night? Lisa's making your favorite, chicken marsala." The last time he'd invited me to dinner was 8 months ago, maybe 9. I'd stopped counting. "Sure, son. What time?" My voice sounded steadier than I felt. 6:30. "And Dad? Dress nice. We have something important to discuss." The line went dead before I could ask what. I stood in my kitchen holding the phone. The house felt too quiet. It had been quiet since Martha passed 2 years ago. 47 years of marriage, and now just silence and the hum of the refrigerator. The kitchen, where we'd raised 3 kids, where Daniel learned to crack eggs, where we'd celebrated every birthday, every holiday, every small victory. Martha used to say, "Don't give them so much they forget gratitude." I'd laughed it off. They were our kids. You give them everything. That's what parents do. Now I wasn't so sure. I looked at the calendar on the wall. Martha's handwriting still marked her doctor's appointments from 2 years ago. I couldn't bring myself to replace it. Friday was 3 days away. 3 days to wonder what important discussion meant. 3 days to remember the last year. Daniel had started coming around more after Martha died. At first, I thought it was grief. Shared loss bringing us closer. He'd show up with Lisa, sometimes with the kids. 12-year-old Emma, 10-year-old Josh. Good kids, polite. But there was something in Daniel's eyes when he walked through the house. The way he looked at the furniture, the art on the walls, the china cabinet Martha's mother had given us. He'd ask questions, casual ones. "Dad, do you have a will updated? Dad, who's handling your investments? Dad, have you thought about assisted living? This house is a lot for one person." I was 72, not 92. I still drove, still paid my bills, still cooked my own meals. The arthritis in my hands was manageable. My memory was sharp. But Daniel talked to me like I was already halfway gone. The Friday came fast. I dressed in the navy blazer Martha always liked, pressed slacks, the watch she'd given me for our 40th anniversary. I looked in the mirror, still myself, still here, still capable. The drive to Daniel's house took 23 minutes. He lived in Riverside Estates, big houses, manicured lawns. His place was a 2-story colonial with white pillars, 4 bedrooms, 3-car garage. I'd helped with the down payment 6 years ago, $75,000, most of my retirement savings at the time. "It's an investment in family," Martha had said. She always saw the best in people, even when maybe she shouldn't have. I pulled into the driveway at 6:28, 2 minutes early. The front windows glowed warm yellow. I could see shapes moving inside. I grabbed the bottle of wine from the passenger seat. A Chianti, $42. Daniel appreciated good wine. The doorbell echoed inside. Footsteps approached. Lisa opened the door. "Richard, Come in, come in. Her smile was bright, too bright. The kind of smile people wear when they're nervous. She took my coat, kissed my cheek. Her perfume was strong, something floral and expensive. Daniel's in the dining room. Kids are at my mother's tonight. Just us adults. She said it lightly, but something in her tone felt off. Why send the kids away? Family dinner without the family? I walked through the foyer. My shoes clicked on the marble tile. More money. I'd helped with that renovation too. $12,000. The marble will last forever, Dad, Daniel had said. Forever. Funny word. The dining room table was set for three. Fine china. Crystal glasses. Candles lit. The chicken sat in the center, perfectly roasted. Mashed potatoes. Green beans. Rolls. My favorite meal. Martha's recipe. Lisa must have asked Daniel for it. Daniel stood when I entered. He wore a button-down shirt, khakis, no tie, but dressed up for him. Dad, good to see you. He shook my hand. Firm grip, professional, like I was a client, not his father. We sat. Lisa brought out the wine. Poured. 3 glasses. Daniel raised his. To family. We clinked. The crystal rang clear and sharp. I sipped. The wine was good, rich and smooth. We made small talk through the salad. Weather, the neighbors, Josh's soccer team, Emma's piano recital, surface conversation, the kind you have with acquaintances. I kept waiting for the real discussion, the important thing. It came with the main course. Daniel set down his fork, cleared his throat. Dad, Lisa and I have been talking. We're worried about you. Here it comes, I thought. You're alone in that big house. Mom's been gone 2 years. You're not getting any younger. He said it gently. Concerned, but I heard something else underneath. Calculation. I'm managing fine, son. I kept my voice even. Are you, though? Lisa leaned forward. We drive by sometimes. The gutters need cleaning. The lawn looks rough. The porch light was out last week. They were watching, keeping tabs, taking notes. I can handle home maintenance. My grip tightened on my fork. Daniel exchanged a look with Lisa, some silent communication. Then he reached beside his chair, pulled out the manila folder, set it on the table, right there between us. Between the food and the family and the pretense, we think it's time to make some changes. For your safety, for your security. He opened the folder, pulled out papers, legal documents, dense text, official seals. I looked down. The words jumped out. Power of attorney, financial management, medical decisions, asset control. Sign this paper, Dad, Daniel said. His voice had changed. Flat, businesslike. The warmth from dinner was gone. This was the real purpose. The real reason I was here. I read the first page, then the second. My name, Daniel's name, transfer of authority, immediate and irrevocable. My house, my accounts, my pension, my life. This gives you control of everything. I said it quietly. It gives me the ability to help you, to manage things, so you don't have to worry. Daniel's voice was smooth, practiced, like he'd rehearsed this. I looked at Lisa. She was nodding, supportive, united front. And if I don't want to sign? I asked. The temperature in the room dropped. Daniel's jaw tightened. Dad, be reasonable. You're 72, living alone. What happens if you fall? If you forget to pay bills? If something happens? Nothing's happened. Not yet. Lisa's voice was soft but sharp. But it will. It always does. And we're trying to prevent a crisis. I sat back. Looked at them. Really looked at them. My son, his wife, people I'd loved and helped and supported, and I saw it. The hunger, the impatience, the calculation. Your attorney's recording this, isn't he? The question came out calm, curious. Daniel went white. Actually, white. The color drained from his face like water down a sink. What? Your attorney? Is he recording? To make sure the signing is official? Voluntary? I kept my tone conversational. Like we were discussing the weather. There's no, Daniel stammered. I reached into my jacket pocket, pulled out my phone, set it on the table. The recording app was running. Red dot blinking. Mine has been, for the last 18 minutes, since before I walked in the door. The silence was complete. Even the candles seemed to stop flickering. Lisa's eyes went wide. Daniel's mouth opened and closed. No words came out. See, son, you weren't the only one who thought to document things. I tapped my phone. Stop the recording. Funny thing about lawyers. When you tell them your son's been pressuring you for financial control, they give you good advice, like recording conversations, taking precautions. Daniel found his voice. Dad, this is insulting. We're trying to help. Are you? I leaned forward. Let me ask you something. This power of attorney, it's irrevocable. That means once I sign, I can't take it back, right? Silence. And it gives you immediate control. My accounts, my property, everything, right? More silence. So, help me understand. How is stripping me of all autonomy and control helping me? Because it looks a lot like you're helping yourself. Lisa stood abruptly. I should check on dessert. She fled to the kitchen. Daniel sat frozen. Dad, you're misunderstanding. Am I? I pulled out another document from my other pocket, unfolded it, set it next to his folder. This is a bank statement. My account. You know what's interesting? 3 months ago, you asked to be added as a joint owner. For emergencies, you said. In case something happened and you needed to access funds for my care. Daniel's eyes fixed on the paper. You withdrew $17,000 2 weeks ago. Want to explain what emergency that was for? My voice stayed level, calm, but my heart was pounding. The car needed repairs. Your car? With my money? For your emergency? I let that hang in the air. Daniel's face went red now. Embarrassment or anger or both. You have plenty. You don't need all that money sitting there. It's my money, Daniel. 4 words. Simple. True. We gave you grandchildren. We visit. We check on you. That's worth something. His voice was rising. Worth $17,000? Should I send you an invoice for the $75,000 I gave you for this house? The $12,000 for the marble floors? The $8,000 for Emma's braces? The numbers came easily. I'd been keeping track, not because I wanted repayment, but because I wanted to remember. Martha had kept a notebook, blue spiral bound. Every gift, every loan, every helping hand. Not for guilt, for memory, for context. I'd found it after she died, in her nightstand, page after page of our generosity, our love in ledger form. $75,000 for the house down payment, $12,000 for renovations, $8,000 for Emma's orthodontics, $6,000 for Josh's summer camp 3 years running, $4,000 when Lisa's car died, $3,000 for the trip to Disney, $2,500 for the new laptop, $1,800 for the water heater, on and on, pages of it. The total was $217,000 over 6 years. Since Martha's diagnosis, since we knew time was limited, we'd wanted to help, to give them security, to be good parents and grandparents. I never asked you to keep track. Daniel's voice was bitter now. I didn't. Your mother did. I pulled out Martha's notebook, set it on the table. She wrote it all down. Not because she resented it, because she loved you. Because she wanted to remember every way we helped build your life. Daniel stared at the notebook like it was a snake. She also wrote other things, conversations, concerns. I opened to a page marked with a ribbon, Martha's handwriting, neat and precise. I read aloud. Daniel asked again about the house today. Third time this month. He keeps saying, Richard doesn't need all that space. I told him it's our home. He changed the subject, but I saw his face. He's counting inheritance before we're cold. Lisa had come back from the kitchen. She stood in the doorway, frozen. I turned more pages, read more entries. Daniel suggested assisted living again, showed me brochures, said they're nice places. But his eyes were on the house value, not on Richard's happiness. Another page. Lisa asked about my jewelry. Casual question. Which pieces are family heirlooms? Which have value? I felt like livestock being appraised. Mom was paranoid at the end. Daniel started. Mom was dying. Not stupid. My voice cracked. First time I'd let emotion through. She saw what was happening. She tried to warn me, and I didn't listen. Because I didn't want to believe my son could be that callous. The candles flickered. Someone's breath, maybe. Or just the air conditioning. The room felt cold. I think I should go. I stood, picked up my phone. Martha's notebook. Left the folder where it was. Dad! Wait! Daniel stood too. I'm not signing anything. Not tonight. Not ever. Not that document anyway. I straightened my jacket. I'm going to have my attorney draft something new. A will. Very specific. Very clear. And you're going to find out what happens when you treat family like a business transaction. I walked toward the door. Lisa stepped aside. Her eyes were wet. Guilt or fear or just embarrassment? Hard to tell. Daniel followed me. Dad, you're overreacting. We can talk about this. I turned at the door, looked at him. My son, 43 years old. I'd taught him to ride a bike, to throw a baseball, to change a tire. I'd been there for every birthday, every graduation, every milestone. And he'd been patient, waiting, watching, planning. When your mother died, you know what her last words to me were? I didn't wait for an answer. She said, Don't let them take everything we built. I thought she meant memories. I was wrong. She meant all of it. The house, the savings, the dignity. She knew. I opened the door. The night air was cold. November in the Midwest. 15 degrees and dropping. You could have just asked for help if you needed money. I would have given it. But you tried to take it, to manipulate it out of me. That's the difference between family and fraud, son. Consent. I walked to my car, got in, started the engine. Daniel stood in the doorway, the warm light behind him, but he looked small, diminished. I drove home in silence. No radio. Just the sound of tires on pavement and my own breathing. The house was dark when I got there. I'd forgotten to leave lights on. It looked empty, dead. Inside, I poured myself a scotch. Sat in Martha's chair, the one by the fireplace. It still smelled like her perfume somehow. 2 years, and I could still catch traces. I pulled out my phone, played back the recording. Daniel's voice, Lisa's voice, their arguments, their manipulation, their casual cruelty dressed up as concern. All of it documented. My attorney, Malcolm Fletcher, had told me to gather evidence. If they're pressuring you, Richard, we need proof. Record conversations. Save documents. Build a case. Malcolm had been Martha's attorney first. He'd handled her will, knew our family, knew Daniel. Your son's been calling me, Malcolm had said 3 weeks ago, asking about your assets, your competency, whether you've considered guardianship options. He's laying groundwork. That's when I knew. When I understood. This wasn't sudden. This was planned, calculated. Daniel had been building toward this for months, maybe years. I'd called Malcolm that afternoon. Tell me what to do. And he'd told me. Document everything. Record conversations. Gather evidence. Prepare. Now I had it. 18 minutes of attempted financial coercion. Caught clearly. Admissible. My phone buzzed. Text message. Daniel, Dad, you embarrassed us tonight. Accusing us like that. We were only trying to help. You need to apologize. I stared at the fort. Message. Read it twice. 3 times. The audacity. The gaslighting. He'd tried to strip me of my autonomy, and he wanted an apology. I typed back, no. 1 word. Sent. The phone rang immediately. Daniel. I let it ring. Voicemail. It rang again. Again I let it go. 5 more times. 15 more. I stopped counting. Then texts from Lisa. Richard, please. Daniel's upset. Can we talk? More texts. You're being unreasonable. Think of the kids. We're family. Family. They kept using that word. But family doesn't ambush you with legal documents over dinner. Family doesn't steal from joint accounts. Family doesn't plot inheritance like a heist. I finished my scotch. Poured another. The fire I'd started earlier was dying down. I added a log. Watched it catch. The flames were mesmerizing. Destructive, but beautiful. My phone buzzed again. Not Daniel this time. Unknown number. I answered. Hello? Mr. Sawyer? This is Judith Marks. I'm an attorney, representing your son Daniel. A woman's voice. Professional. Smooth. So he'd already called his lawyer. Fast work. I'm listening. I kept my voice neutral. Mr. Sawyer, my client is concerned about some accusations made tonight. He wants to resolve this amicably. Perhaps we could arrange a meeting? Talk through these misunderstandings? There's no misunderstanding. He tried to manipulate me into signing over power of attorney. I declined. That's all. My client says you made recordings without consent. In this state, this state is a one-party consent jurisdiction. I can record any conversation I'm part of. Your client should know that. But then, your client should know a lot of things he seems to have forgotten. Silence on the line. Then, Mr. Sawyer, litigation would be expensive for everyone, emotionally and financially. Surely we can find a resolution. Tell your client that the resolution is simple. Stay away from my finances. Stay away from my property. And maybe, possibly, we can rebuild some kind of relationship. But that starts with him admitting what he tried to do. I'll relay your message. The line went dead. I sat back, sipped scotch. The fire crackled. This was going to get worse before it got better. I knew that. But I also knew I'd crossed a line tonight. A line I couldn't uncross. Martha would be proud. Or maybe disappointed. Hard to say. She'd always believed in family, in forgiveness, in second chances. But she'd also written those warnings. She'd seen the truth before I did. My phone lit up again. Email this time. From Malcolm Fletcher. Subject line. Next steps. I opened it. Richard, got your recording. It's good. Very good. Clear evidence of undue influence attempt. We should meet Monday. Discuss protection strategies. Restraining orders if needed. New estate plan definitely. Call me tomorrow. Malcolm. Restraining orders. Against my own son. How had it come to this? I knew how. Little things over years. The slow erosion of respect. The gradual shift from son to circling vulture. After Martha died, Daniel had smelled opportunity. Elderly father, alone, vulnerable, prime target. Except I wasn't that vulnerable. I was grieving, yes. Lonely, absolutely. But not incompetent. Not helpless. Not ready to be managed. I thought about the notebook, Martha's careful documentation. She'd known. Had tried to tell me. Little comments. Gentle warnings. Daniel seems very interested in the house value. Lisa asked about my jewelry again. Don't they have their own money? I dismissed it. Grief talking. Paranoia from pain medication. But it was clarity. Final gift from a dying woman trying to protect her husband. The fire burned lower. I didn't add more wood. Just watched it die. Seemed appropriate somehow. The end of something. The warmth fading. Just embers and ash remaining. My phone was quiet now. No more calls. No more texts. Just silence. Maybe they'd given up for the night. Regrouping. Planning their next move. I had to plan too. Monday, meeting with Malcolm. New will. Maybe a trust. Ironclad documents that couldn't be manipulated or contested. Protection. But protection from your own child. That's a wound that doesn't heal. That's a betrayal that changes everything. I finished my scotch. Looked around the living room. 40 years of memories in this room. Daniel's baby photos on the mantel. Family portraits. Martha's collection of vintage books. My grandfather's clock. All of it mine. All of it earned. All of it threatened. Not anymore. I picked up my phone, opened my email, started typing to Malcolm. Need comprehensive estate plan. Daniel excluded as beneficiary. Lisa excluded. No financial access. No decision-making authority. Want to establish trust for grandchildren only. Available Monday morning. Name the time. Sent. The clock struck midnight. Friday becoming Saturday. I sat in the dark. Just me and the dying fire and the weight of what I'd learned. Daniel called himself my son. But sons don't do this. Sons don't calculate. Sons don't circle. Sons love. And love doesn't keep score. Love doesn't demand. Love doesn't manipulate. Martha had known the difference. Now I did too. The house settled around me. Old house sounds. Creaks and groans. Familiar. Comforting. My house. My space. Mine. And it was going to stay that way. I went to bed around 1. Lay in the dark. Sleep didn't come easy. My mind kept replaying dinner. Daniel's face. Lisa's perfume. The folder on the table. The words, "Sign this paper, Dad." Like I was livestock. Asset to be acquired. Morning came gray and cold. Saturday. I made coffee. Strong and black. Sat at the kitchen table. Same table where Daniel had eaten breakfast as a kid. Where we'd done homework together. Where Martha and I had our quiet morning talks. My phone showed 37 missed calls. 23 text messages. Most from Daniel. Some from Lisa. 2 from numbers I didn't recognize. Probably more attorneys. I didn't read them. Didn't listen to voicemails. Not yet. Not today. Instead, I called my daughter, Rachel. She lived in Portland. As far from family drama as she could get. She'd moved after college and never looked back. Now I understood why. Dad? She sounded surprised. I didn't call often. Usually she called me. Rachel, can you talk? Of course. What's wrong? You sound off. I told her. Everything. The dinner, the document, the recording, Daniel's attempts, Malcolm's warnings, all of it. She was quiet when I finished. Then, Dad, I'm sorry. You knew? Not exactly. But Daniel's been asking me questions about you, your health, your finances, whether I thought you needed help. I told him to talk to you directly. He said he was just concerned. He's concerned about inheriting. Yeah, she sighed. Dad, I love Daniel. He's my brother. But he's always been like this, calculating. Mom used to worry. She wrote it down. Did you know that? The notebook? Yeah. She showed me, once. Said it was insurance. In case something happened and you needed proof. Proof that your own son is, I couldn't finish, a narcissist. That's the word Mom used. She'd been reading about it. The entitlement, the manipulation, the lack of empathy. She said Daniel checked every box. I felt sick. Why didn't she tell me? She tried, Dad. You didn't want to hear it. You always made excuses for him. He's under stress. He's just worried. You couldn't see it. She was right. I hadn't wanted to see. Easier to be blind than to admit your child was broken somehow. What do I do now? I asked. Protect yourself. Cut him off. Make it legal and clear. And Dad, her voice softened, I'm sorry you have to do this. I'm sorry he forced your hand. We talked for another hour. About everything and nothing. She told me about her job, her partner Melissa, their apartment, normal life things. It felt good, grounding. Dad, do you need me to come home? I can get a flight. No. Stay. There. Live your life. I'll be okay. You sure? I'm sure. And I was. Mostly. After we hung up, I felt better. Rachel was solid. Kind. The daughter I'd raised right. Or maybe just the one whose brain chemistry didn't wire wrong. I spent the weekend alone. Deliberately. Ignored my phone. Worked in the yard. The gutters did need cleaning. I got the ladder. Did it myself. Took 3 hours, but I managed. My hands ached after. Arthritis flaring. But I'd done it. The porch light was out. I replaced the bulb. Checked the others too. All working. The lawn looked rough. I mowed. Raked. Trimmed. By Sunday evening, the place looked maintained. Cared for. Lived in. I was tired. Sore. But satisfied. I could do this. I could maintain my own life. My own space. Monday morning came clear and cold. I dressed carefully. Meeting Malcolm at 10. This was important. Documentation. Strategy. Protection. Malcolm's office was downtown. Old building, brick and marble. His practice was small, just him and a paralegal. But he was good, sharp, honest. He stood when I entered, shook my hand. Richard, thank you for coming. We sat in his office. Leather chairs. Wooden desk. Bookshelves full of legal texts. It smelled like old paper and coffee. Let's hear the recording, Malcolm said. I played it. The full 18 minutes. Daniel's voice. Lisa's voice. Their manipulation. Their pressure. The attempted coercion. Malcolm took notes. His face stayed neutral, but his jaw tightened. When it finished, he sat back. That's textbook undue influence. If you'd signed, we could argue it wasn't voluntary, that you were pressured. But more importantly, it shows intent. Your son intended to gain control of your assets through manipulation. Can we use it? If needed, yes. In court, if it comes to that. But Richard, I hope it doesn't come to that. Litigation with family is ugly, expensive, emotionally devastating. What's the alternative? We make you untouchable. New will, revocable trust, pour-over provisions, everything locked down. Daniel has no access, no authority, no claim. Clear and legal. Do it. Malcolm nodded. I'll draft everything this week. We'll need to document your mental competency, medical evaluation, cognitive testing. So if Daniel tries to challenge, we have proof you were of sound mind. He'd challenge? If there's money at stake? People challenge everything. Malcolm's voice was tired, like he'd seen this before, too many times. We spent 2 hours going over details, assets, property, accounts, beneficiaries. Rachel would inherit. The grandchildren would have trust funds. But Daniel got nothing. Not the house, not the savings, not the watch or the books or the furniture. Nothing. This feels vindictive, I admitted. This feels protective, Malcolm corrected. You're not punishing him. You're protecting yourself. There's a difference. Maybe. Hard to tell from inside the wound. I left Malcolm's office at noon. Sat in my car. Breathed. This was real now. Legal and documented. Daniel was being cut out. Formally. Officially. My phone rang. Daniel. Again. I'd been ignoring his calls for 3 days. Maybe it was time to talk. Get it over with. I answered, "Hello, son. Dad. Finally. We need to talk." His voice was tight. Controlled anger. "I'm listening. You humiliated us Friday. You recorded us without telling us. You accused us of horrible things. And then you just left. That's not how family behaves." I almost laughed. Almost. You're lecturing me on family behavior? We were trying to help. You were trying to steal. Let's be honest, Daniel. You wanted my money, my house, control, and you tried to manipulate me into giving it up. That's not what happened. I have it recorded. Every word. Silence. Then, you can't use that. I'll sue. Sue me? For what? Protecting myself? One-party consent state, remember? The recording is legal, and it shows exactly what you tried to do. Dad, you're making a huge mistake. We're your family, your only family. I have Rachel. I have my grandchildren. I have friends. I have a life. What I don't have is patience for manipulation. Fine. His voice went cold. Ice cold. You want to be alone? Be alone. But don't come crying to us when you need help. When you fall, when you can't manage, you'll have no one. I'll have my dignity. I hung up. My hands were shaking. Adrenaline, anger, grief, all of it mixed together. That was my son, the boy I'd raised, and he'd just threatened me. Casually, cruelly. I drove home, sat in the driveway, looked at the house. This is what it was about. This building, this property, this asset. To Daniel, that's all it was. To me, it was 40 years of life, of memories, of Martha. I couldn't let him have it, couldn't let him turn it into dollars and square footage. It meant more than that. That night, Rachel called again. Daniel called me. He's furious. I bet. He wants me to talk. To you. Convince you to reconcile. He says you're overreacting. What did you tell him? I told him to go to hell. She said it simply. Matter of fact. Dad, I'm on your side. Always. Whatever you need. I felt something crack. Relief, maybe. Or just the absence of loneliness. Thank you, Rachel. I mean it. You're doing the right thing. Protecting yourself. Mom would be proud. After we hung up, I poured a scotch, sat by the fire, thought about Martha, what she'd say, what she'd do. She'd written those warnings, those observations. She'd seen Daniel's trajectory, but she'd also loved him. Complicated, contradictory love. The kind parents feel for broken children. Would she want me to forgive? To reconcile? Or would she want me to stand firm? I thought I knew. She'd written, Don't let them take everything we built. Not forgive them, not family first, but don't let them take. She'd given me permission, or maybe instruction, to protect what we'd made together. The week passed slowly. Malcolm called Wednesday. Documents were ready. I drove to his office, signed everything: new will, trust, medical directives, all of it ironclad. If Daniel contests, he'll lose, Malcolm said. We have everything documented: your competency, his attempted manipulation, the recording. You're protected. Protected, strange word. Protected from your own child. I filed the new will that afternoon, 3:17 p.m. Time-stamped, legal, done. My phone buzzed, email from an address I didn't recognize. Subject: from Emma, my granddaughter. I opened it. Grandpa, I don't understand what's happening. Dad says you don't want to see us anymore, that you're mad. Is that true? I miss you. Love, Emma. My chest hurt. Physical pain. They were using the kids, weaponizing them. 12-year-old Emma didn't understand adult manipulation. She just knew her grandfather was gone. I wanted to respond, to explain, but what could I say? Your father tried to steal from me? Your parents are narcissists? She was 12. I typed back, Emma, I love you very much. This is between your father and me. It's not about you or Josh. You did nothing wrong. Love always, Grandpa. Sent. Within minutes, my phone rang. Daniel. I didn't answer. He left a voicemail. I listened. How dare you contact my daughter? You want to cut us out? Fine. But you don't get to confuse my kids. You stay away from them. You hear me? Stay away. I saved the voicemail, sent it to Malcolm. More documentation, more evidence. This was war now. Ugly family war. The kind that destroys relationships permanently. But Daniel had started it. I was just finishing it. 2 weeks passed. Quiet weeks. No calls from Daniel. No texts. Just silence. I settled into routine. Coffee, reading, yard work, cooking for one. Rachel called every few days, checking in, making sure I was okay. I appreciated it, needed it. Thanksgiving approached. First one without Martha. Second one without Daniel. Different absences. One chosen, one not. Rachel invited me to Portland. Come out. Spend it with Melissa and me. We'll cook. You'll love it. I considered it. But the flight seemed exhausting. The newness overwhelming. I think I'll stay home this year. Quiet Thanksgiving. You sure, Dad? I'm sure. Thanksgiving Day was gray. Cold. I made a small turkey. Just a breast. Mashed potatoes. Stuffing from a box. It wasn't Martha's cooking. But it was warm and filling. I ate alone at the kitchen table. Set one place. One plate. One glass. The silence was heavy, but not unbearable. Just present. My phone buzzed. Text from unknown number. I almost ignored it. But curiosity won. Mr. Sawyer, this is Lisa's mother. Patricia, I heard about what happened. I want you to know, I think my daughter and son-in-law behaved shamefully. You deserve better. I'm sorry. Happy Thanksgiving. I stared at the message. Read it 3 times. Patricia. Lisa's mother. We'd met at the wedding. Pleasant. Woman. Kind eyes. I hadn't talked to her in years. I typed back, Thank you, Patricia. That means more than you know. Happy Thanksgiving to you, too. Her response came fast. If you ever need anything, someone to talk to, a friend, I'm here. I appreciate that. And I did. Unexpected kindness. From unexpected places. That night, I sat by the fire, thought about the year, Martha's death, Daniel's betrayal, Rachel's support, this new normal. It wasn't what I'd wanted, but it was what I had. And maybe that was enough. Maybe survival was enough. December came fast. Christmas approached. I didn't decorate, didn't see the point. No tree, no lights. Just another day. Rachel sent gifts, warm socks, nice scotch, a book about woodworking, thoughtful things. I appreciated them. Daniel sent nothing, not even a card. I sent nothing back. Symmetry in absence. Christmas morning was quiet. I made coffee, scrambled eggs, toast, normal breakfast, normal day. My phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. Richard? A man's voice. Familiar, but I couldn't place it. Yes? It's Tom. Tom Harrison. From the club. The country club. I'd been a member 40 years. Didn't go much anymore. Not since Martha died. Tom. Hi. Merry Christmas. Same to you. Listen, I'm calling because I heard something. About Daniel. Thought you should know. My stomach dropped. What did you hear? He's been talking. At the club. About you. Says you're incompetent. That you refused help. That he's worried about your safety. He's building a narrative, Richard. Public opinion campaign. Building toward what? Guardianship petition, maybe. If he can convince enough people you're not capable, he can petition the court. Force evaluation. Take control legally. Jesus Christ. He'd do that? Money makes people do ugly things. And he's been asking about your finances, your assets, how much the house is worth. He's calculating. Thanks for telling me, Tom. Watch your back, Richard. And if you need anything, witnesses, character references, call me. I hung up, sat down. Guardianship petition, legal action to declare me incompetent. Take control by force if manipulation didn't work. Daniel was escalating. I called Malcolm, left voicemail. We need to talk. Soon. Daniel's planning something. He called back within an hour. What happened? I told him. Tom's warning. Daniel's campaign. The possibility of forced guardianship. Malcolm swore. Actually swore. We need to move fast. Medical evaluation. Cognitive testing. Document your competency officially. So if he files petition, we have evidence you're sound. Set it up. 2 days later, I was at a neurologist's office. Dr. Sarah Chen. She was young, competent, professional. She ran tests, memory tests, problem solving, cognitive function, coordination, balance, everything. 3 hours of evaluation. Exhausting, humiliating, but necessary. Mr. Sawyer, your cognitive function is excellent for your age. Actually, excellent for any age. No signs of dementia, no impairment. You're sharp. She smiled. I'll write a detailed report for your attorney. Thank you. Can I ask why you needed this evaluation? I hesitated, then told her, my son, the manipulation, the threats, the potential guardianship action. Her smile faded. I'm sorry. That's awful. But you have my report. It's comprehensive. If he tries anything, you have proof of competency. I left with documentation, official medical proof I was fine, capable, sound. Malcolm filed it immediately, added it to my legal file. Armor against attack. January came cold and bitter, winter settling in. I stayed home mostly, too icy to drive much, too cold to work outside. Rachel called weekly, sometimes more, making sure I was okay, not too isolated. She was worried. I could hear it in her voice. Dad, maybe you should come to Portland, at least for a few weeks. Get away. I'm fine here, Rachel. You're alone there. Alone isn't lonely. I'd said it before I realized it was true. I was alone, but not lonely. Not anymore. The house was quiet, but it was my quiet, my space, my choice. February brought news. Malcolm called. Daniel filed a guardianship petition. I'd expected it, but hearing it still hurt. When? Yesterday. Claims you're incompetent, unable to manage finances or health care. Says he's concerned, wants court to appoint him guardian. We have the medical evaluation. We do, and we'll fight this. But Richard, be prepared. This will be ugly. Court hearings, testimony, your life examined publicly. I don't care. He's not taking my life. The hearing was set for March. 6 weeks away. 6 weeks to prepare, to document, to build defense against my own son. Malcolm filed countermotion. Included my medical evaluation, my financial records showing competent management, character references from Tom and others, evidence of Daniel's manipulation attempt. We built a case, not just defense, offense, showing Daniel's true motivation, his attempted theft, his campaign of defamation. The hearing arrived cold and gray, March wind cutting. I dressed carefully, suit and tie, the navy one Martha had liked. I wanted to look competent, capable, not like someone who needed a guardian. The courtroom was small, wood paneling, high ceiling, judge's bench elevated. It smelled like old books and tension. Daniel was there with Judith Marks, his attorney. She looked expensive, sharp suit, leather briefcase, professional smile. Malcolm sat beside me, calm. Ready. The judge entered. Older woman. Judge Patricia Thornton. She looked tired, like she'd seen too many family fights. This is petition for guardianship, she began. Petitioner Daniel Sawyer claims his father, Richard Sawyer, is incompetent, unable to manage affairs. Requests appointment as guardian. Mr. Sawyer, you contest this? Yes, Your Honor. My voice was steady. Then we'll hear evidence. Judith Marks stood. Presented Daniel's case. He was concerned. I lived alone. Big house. Complex finances. I'd refused help. Became hostile when offered assistance. She made it sound reasonable. Loving son, worried about elderly father. Then Malcolm stood. Your Honor, may I present evidence? Proceed. Malcolm played the recording. The full 18 minutes. Daniel's voice trying to manipulate me. The attempted coercion. The manipulation. The room went silent. Even the court reporter stopped typing. Judge Thornton's expression changed, hardened. Malcolm continued. Your Honor, this isn't about Mr. Sawyer's competency. This is about his son's greed. We have medical evaluation from Dr. Sarah Chen, neurologist, showing Mr. Sawyer's cognitive function is excellent. We have financial records showing competent management. We have character references. This guardianship petition is abuse of process. Judith Marks tried to object. That recording was made without consent. One-party consent state. Malcolm interrupted. Completely legal. Judge Thornton held up her hand. I've heard enough. Mr. Daniel Sawyer. Approach. Daniel stood, walked forward, confident, like he still thought he'd win. Did you try to obtain power of attorney from your father? She asked. I was trying to help. Yes or no? Yes. But did you withdraw money from a joint account without his knowledge? Daniel hesitated. It was for car repairs. That's not what I asked. Did you withdraw funds? Yes. And did you file this guardianship petition after your father refused to sign over power of attorney? Longer hesitation. Yes. Judge Thornton sat back. Petition denied. Mr. Richard Sawyer is clearly competent. This petition appears motivated by financial interest, not concern. I'm awarding costs to respondent. Mr. Daniel Sawyer will pay his father's attorney fees. This hearing is concluded. Gavel strike. Done. Daniel's face went white, then red, fury and humiliation mixing. Judith Marks gathered her papers quickly, whispered to Daniel. They left fast. Malcolm shook my hand. You won. I know. But it didn't feel like winning. It felt like surviving. Different thing entirely. Outside the courthouse, Tom Harrison was waiting. He'd come to testify if needed. Character witness. How'd it go? He asked. Petition denied. Tom smiled. Good. He had it coming. We talked for a few minutes. Normal conversation. Weather. Sports. Life. It felt good. Normal. Human connection without agenda. I drove home slowly, processed what happened. Daniel had tried, really tried, to take control, to declare me incompetent, to strip my autonomy legally. And he'd lost. But the relationship was gone, permanently. You don't come back from this. You don't forgive attempted guardianship. Home felt warmer than usual, or maybe just safer. Protected now, legally and clearly. I called Rachel. It's over. Petition denied. Thank God. Dad, I'm so relieved. Me too. What now? Now, I live my life on my terms. And that's what I did. Weeks became months. Spring came slowly. Ice melted. Grass greened. Flowers bloomed. I worked in the garden. Martha's garden. She'd planted tulips years ago. They came back every spring, red and yellow. Faithful return. I sat on the porch, drank coffee, read books, simple things, quiet things. Rachel visited in May, brought Melissa. We spent a week together, talking, laughing, being family, real family. Not performance, not obligation, just love. Dad, you seem good, Rachel said one evening. We were sitting on the porch, watching sunset. I am good. You're not lonely? No, I'm alone sometimes. But not lonely. There's a difference. She nodded. Understood. Melissa was kind, thoughtful. She asked about Martha, about our life together. She listened, really listened. Not just waiting to talk, actually hearing. Your mother would have liked Melissa, I told Rachel later. I think so too. After they left, the house felt empty, but not lonely. Just quiet, peaceful. Summer came hot. I spent mornings in the garden, afternoons reading, evenings on the porch. Simple routine, simple life. I heard through Tom that Daniel had moved. Different city, different state. Running from embarrassment maybe, or just starting over. I felt nothing about it. No relief, no sadness. Just nothing. He was gone from my life completely, and that was fine. Emma wrote me once. Email. Short message. Grandpa, I miss you. I don't understand what happened, but I hope you're happy. Love, Emma, I wrote back. Longer message. Explaining in gentle terms. Adult conflict. Not her fault. I loved her. Always would. I didn't hear back. Daniel had probably found the exchange. Cut off that avenue? Fine. She'd be 18 in 6 years. Could contact me herself then if she wanted. The grandchildren were collateral damage, innocent casualties. That hurt, but not enough to surrender. Some prices are too high. July brought Martha's birthday. She would have been 70. I bought flowers, yellow roses, her favorite, took them to her grave, stood there a while, talking to her, telling her everything about Daniel. The hearing, the victory, the cost. You were right, I said aloud. You saw it coming, tried to warn me. I'm sorry I didn't listen sooner. Wind rustled through the cemetery trees. I took it as response. Forgiveness, maybe. Or just wind. I'm okay now. Protected, safe, living the life we built, on my terms, like you wanted. More wind, more trees. The roses looked bright against the gray headstone, alive against death, hope against loss. I miss you every day, but I'm managing. Rachel visits. The house is good. The garden is beautiful. You'd be proud of the tulips. I stayed another hour, just being there, then drove home. That evening, I made Martha's recipe, chicken marsala. First time since she died. It smelled right, tasted right, memory in food form. I ate alone, but didn't mind. Some meals are about remembering, not company. August brought heat wave, brutal, oppressive. I stayed inside mostly, air conditioning, running, reading, resting. Tom called. Richard, we're having a gathering at the club. Saturday evening, just friends. Good food, good company. You should come. I almost declined. Habit. But then thought better. Okay, I'll be there. Saturday evening, I drove to the country club. Nervous for some reason. Social anxiety. Or just out of practice. But it was good. 10 people, couples mostly. Tom and his wife Janet. Others I knew from years of membership. We ate, talked, laughed. Normal human interaction. No one mentioned Daniel. No one asked about family drama. Just friendship. Simple and clean. Driving home, I felt lighter. Human connection without complication. Refreshing. I started going to more gatherings. Dinners. Cards. Golf. Occasionally, despite the arthritis. Life emerging from isolation. September brought autumn. My favorite season. Leaves. Turning. Air cooling. Everything golden and orange and red. I worked outside more. Raking. Preparing for winter. The physical work felt good. Purposeful. Rachel called one evening. Dad, I have news. Melissa and I are getting married. Rachel, that's wonderful. And it was. Pure happiness for her. We want you there. Will you come to Portland? It's in November. I'll be there. Wouldn't miss it. Thank you, Dad. It means everything. After we hung up, I sat with that feeling. Joy. Pure and uncomplicated. My daughter was happy, was getting married, and I'd be there to see it. This was family. This was real. Not obligation, not manipulation, just love. November came fast. I flew to Portland. First flight in years. Nervous about it, but managed fine. Rachel met me at the airport, hugged me tight. Dad, thank you for coming. Of course. The wedding was small, intimate, 20 people. City Hall ceremony. Simple and beautiful. Rachel wore ivory dress. Melissa wore gray suit. They looked radiant. I cried. Actually cried. Joy tears, relief tears, gratitude tears, all of it mixed. At the small reception after, Rachel gave a toast to family. Not the family you're born into, but the family you choose. The family that chooses you back. She looked at me when she said it, smiled. I understood. She was talking about us. About choosing each other, about real family. That night, lying in the hotel bed, I thought about Daniel. Wondered if he knew about the wedding. Probably not. Rachel hadn't invited him. I felt sad about that. Brief sadness. for what could have been, for the son I'd thought I had. But the sadness passed. Reality was better than fantasy. Truth was better than illusion. I flew home 3 days later, back to quiet house, quiet life, but fuller somehow, more connected, more alive. December came gentle, light snow, cold but not bitter. I decorated for Christmas this time. Small tree, simple lights, nothing elaborate, but present, acknowledgement of season. Rachel sent gifts early, warm sweater, good coffee, more books. I sent gifts back, check for honeymoon trip, antique picture frame for wedding photo. Christmas morning was quiet but good. Coffee, breakfast, fire in fireplace, peaceful. My phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me, hello? Mr. Sawyer? This is Emma, my granddaughter. Voice older now, more mature. Emma. Hi. My heart raced. I'm calling from a friend's phone. Dad doesn't know. I just wanted to say Merry Christmas, and that I miss you. I miss you too, sweetheart. I'm sorry about everything. I don't really understand it. But I'm sorry. It's not your fault, Emma. None of it. I turn 13 next month. Dad says when I'm 18, I can make my own decisions about who I see. So just 5 more years. Then maybe we can talk again? My throat tightened. I'd like that very much. Okay, I have to go. But Merry Christmas, Grandpa. I love you. I love you too, Emma. So much. The line went dead. I sat holding the phone, crying openly now. She'd reached out, despite Daniel, despite everything. She'd found a way. 5 years felt long, but also manageable. She'd be 18, adult, could choose for herself. And maybe, possibly, we'd rebuild something. That evening, I poured scotch, sat by the fire, thought about the year, the hearing, the victory, the cost, the new normal. I'd lost a son, but kept my dignity, my autonomy, my life. I'd gained deeper connection with Rachel, with friends, with myself. The balance wasn't equal. Loss weighed more than gain, but it was honest, true, real. Martha's voice echoed in memory. Don't let them take everything we built. I hadn't. I'd fought. I'd won. I'd protected what mattered. The fire crackled. Snow fell outside. The house felt warm, safe, mine. I wasn't rich, wasn't famous, wasn't remarkable. Just an old man who'd stood his ground. Who'd said no when no needed, saying, who'd chosen self-respect over family peace. Maybe that was enough. Maybe that was everything. The clock struck midnight, Christmas ending, new day beginning. I raised my glass to the fire, to Martha, to the year survived, to the life protected. Thank you, I said aloud, to her, to myself, to whatever force had given me strength to fight. The fire burned bright. The scotch tasted warm. The house felt like home. I was 73 years old, alone but not lonely, wounded but healing, broken but standing, and I was free, finally, completely free. If you like this story, please like it, subscribe to the channel, and share your impressions in the comments. To listen to more stories, click on the window on the right. Thank you for being with us.